Okay, so we have successfully completed the visualization in 3D, and I just want to explain how we can generate an elevation profile from our elevation data. So we'll be using a plugin. Okay, from the plugins window, we'll install a plugin. You can also download this plugin from the QGIS repository. Um, it's called the Profile Tool plugin. So in the plugins folder, you also find the attached file for this plugin in the project folder. It's called Profile Tool. And so once you select it and open it, okay, install from zip. Okay, you select and open the plugin, and you can click install plugin. Click yes when the pop-up comes up, and the plugin will be installed. And so when you get notification that the plugin has been successfully installed, it will be listed under the installed section here, and you can read more information about the plugin and the plugin authors, and if you want to find out more about how the plugin works. But this essentially allows us to generate a profile from a profile line. So I'll close the plugin window for now, and what we are going to do first of all is to create a line of section, okay, which the plugin tool will require. Okay, so in my browser panel, in the features section, I will create a line of section. So I'm going to create a new table and call it section. Alright, and that will be a line geometry. Okay, no field is necessary now, so I'll just click OK. And now our section line has been created. I'll add that to the project. Okay, just bring it down a little bit, and then to edit the section, I'll make sure the section is selected and click edit. And so I want to get a section from here where I have very high elevation across this lake to where I have low elevation over here. So I'll click here and draw a line up to this area. So once I'm satisfied with my line, I'll right click and create a line, save it into the database, and stop the edit session. I'm going to give my line a new symbol for like red and increase the width a little. Okay, I'll also change the color to something different. Okay, I'll make it black. I think green is okay. So having added my line of section, I'm going to launch. So when you install the Profile Tool plugin, you have this section added into the plugins uh, section here, and so I'll click plugin Profile Tool and terrain profile, or I can come here and click the terrain profile icon over here, and so that will bring up this terrain, this Profile Tool section down here, and I'm just going to close the other two panels so that I can have more space to work with the Profile Tool. So the Profile Tool requires an elevation layer. Alright, and so there are a number of panels here to be aware of how the elevation Profile Tool elevation works. So the first thing is to have your elevation data, which will contains elevation, selected, and bring that into the layer section here for the Profile Tool. So when I click add layer, the elevation layer is added. Now the red color here will be the color with which the profile will be displayed. Okay, now we want to also detail the Profile Tool plugin, okay, QGIS, how to read the section. So what section, how do we get the line of section? Okay, and that's what this selection here means. All right, so we have to make sure our section line is also selected. Okay, and then we'll come down to this drop down and say selected polyline or selected layer. So when we select selected layer, we've selected this layer. Okay, if we made a selection in the map, okay, that will possibly be selected polyline. So we use selected layer. All right, now since we've linked our mouse position on the graph, okay, with the canvas, whenever I move my mouse over the graph, all right, I can also see that position moving on the map as well. Okay, you can see the red icon moving on the map. So as I move across my section, I can move, and so you see where we have the lowest elevation, we are within the region where the lake is, and in this hill over here we are getting the higher elevation values on our map. Okay, and so that's how we can generate this section here, and so we can also edit the colors for the line. Okay, so that we can have much more customization. And so at this point you can export it, okay, by clicking save as, all right, and selecting the file format from here. Okay, if you click here we can select some formats, but what we can also do is to do some more advanced customization with our section before exporting. And so to do that, we'll right click and come to export. All right, I'll also do some other settings about the mouse mode and the x-axis and more complex settings here. We'll just click export here, and we have a number of export options for our map. You can either export it directly as an image file, but I like to use this um, matplotlib window to do exports. You can also export the values for the section as a CSV and plot it using another graph type. So let's explore the matplotlib window and how it can help us export our section. I'll click export. Okay, and a new window will pop up. So this is the matplotlib export window, which comes with a much more extended export functionality. All right, so we can see our section here. Now our y-axis is showing elevation, while our x-axis is showing distance across the map. Okay, so right now this is in degrees because our coordinate reference system is working in degrees. Okay, so what we can do if we want to see this in distance is to project or alter the project coordinate system, so we can also use our project in distance in case you wanted to work with distance units. And so to do that, what you can do, okay, is to go to projects, okay, properties. All right, and under the general tab you can change our project units, okay, to a custom projection unit. All right, since we are working um, in that mode. Or one more thing you can also do is to alter your project coordinate reference system, okay, so that you're working in a projected coordinate system, because projected coordinate system allow you to measure, okay, distance um, in meters. All right, because this is using the default geographic coordinate system degree measurement. So there are a number of projected coordinate systems we can use. The most widely used is the UTM. All right, so right now we are in Nigeria, which is around UTM zone 32. Okay, so what I can do is to come down to UTM and look for WGS UTM zone 32, which covers somewhere around, okay, Nigeria, as you can see, zone um, 31, 32 knots, 33 knots, and 31 knots. Okay, cover the Nigeria region. Okay, so I'll work with zone 32 not for now, which gives me most of what I'm looking for, and click OK. Now we can see that we have a we are now working in a projected coordinate system. Okay, WGS UTM. Okay, WGS 84 UTM zone 32. Yeah, so that is using a meters. Okay, we are working mostly in meters, and so if I generate the section again, as you can see, our coordinate readings are now in meters. We should be getting our coordinates in meters. So once you're comfortable with your um, export, what you can also do in the export window is to display your um, axis readings. So I can come to use this tool to pan around and move my section into the view. Okay, I can come here to use some subplots. I want to add subplots. If I give it a tight layout, it occupies the entire window view. Okay, and I can also configure axis options, like give my x-axis a label of elevation. Okay, and elevation in meters. And in my okay, that's for y-axis. On the x-axis, I can make that distance or degrees. Okay, so you can also edit the colors from here. All right, and if I click apply, I can see this. So if part of it is clipped out, I'll go back to the settings and give it a tight layout again. So now I can see my graphics clearly. And so using this section, okay, I can use an image editing tool to or a graphic editing tool to append the geology polygons into it, so that I can now um, use that to render the underlying geology formation underneath the topography, and by doing that create a geologic cross section. So when I'm comfortable with this, I can save by clicking save here, and export this to my project as a section file. Right, so that is how we can create a cross section using QGIS. So you can also explore other plugins that might be able to do something similar. I'm just going to go back to the default um, coordinate system for now. And the next course would explore how we can work with layouts to create exports of our map for printing and for sharing.